Where do I see Nigeria in the next 3 years? I don't know. I can only pray. I can only pray that Nigeria will be fine. Sometimes I don't understand what our government is doing, but I've learned to be a very patient man. I don't rush to judgment, because whatever I say, they will say, oh, it's because I am in opposition. So it's a perpetual blackmail. And so I'm too old now to get muddled up in that kind of blackmail. When we criticized Jonathan, it was very okay. When we criticized Buhari, it was okay to some extent. But if we criticize Tinubu now, they will say, why are you criticizing your friend? So the hypocrisy of it is that I'm only allowed to criticize my enemies, not my friends. So I leave it at that. At my age, I will be 64 next month, by the grace of God. I thank God that He has kept me very fresh. I can tell you, it's not easy to attain such age in our country and still feel very youthful, very strong, and mentally intact. Nigeria is a particularly tough terrain. It requires toughness to stay afloat. What is my thought on the Edo State Deputy Governor's impeachment today, sir? Well, my personal opinion is that it's unfortunate. I don't know what led to such an extreme decision. So since I don't have the facts, but personally, if you ask me as a human being, I am too soft-hearted. And I believe as a Christian that whatever happens, we must learn to forgive, even if we cannot forget. But maybe there are underlying facts that I'm not aware of, and as such, I cannot talk about what I know nothing about. But I know that it's very unfortunate, because I believe that at this point in time, our party, PDP, should unite as much as possible. Of course, there are bad eggs in every political party. There are people I would expect should not be in our party right now. So as I said, I don't know what went wrong between Comrade Philip, my friend and brother, and his boss, also my friend and brother, Governor Bobrisky, someone whose brain I respect so much. I love intellectuals and technocrats in government. I've always canvassed for them. I was seriously praying and hoping that their fight will not get this far. But what has happened has happened. I hope that God will help all of us. What's my take on Bobrisky? Again, I think it's an unnecessary distraction. The problems confronting Nigeria right now is bigger than Bobrisky. So, I don't know. Have they released that now? You know, I've been traveling, so I don't know. Is she still in custody or what? I was trying to reach her, but her line was that sometimes I don't know how to address Bobrisky. The last time I interviewed Idris, which is his original name, that was the first question I asked. How do I address you, he or she? And Idris was laughing. So Bobrisky, I think they've given her a bigger profile now. Anybody who goes to detention and comes back becomes more popular. It happened to me in 1993 when I was put behind bars at Alagbon over my support for Chief Moshood Abiola. So when you go to prison, you know, look at Naira Marley. That's one of the things that turned him to a god of music, you know. So, in fact, I mean, I looked at all the cameras surrounding Bobrisky when he was going into court. I couldn't believe it. I said, oh, they've given him what he always craved. If people thought, oh, Idris will go down because of this, I doubt it. You know, I'm a PR person, and I know in PR every publicity is good publicity. So it's going to make a lot of noise, and a lot of people spray. We see all the big people in Nigeria spraying money. I even thought they arrested Bobrisky for something else. I didn't know that something as simple as spraying. How do we waste so much time when we have hundreds of our governors who stole money in Nigeria and nobody has touched them? You know, so I think my advice to those who arrested Idris is the least of our problems. And I read that he pleaded guilty to spray money. Then they will need to arrest so many of our leaders, because on daily basis they spray money at parties. Do I believe in justice? Why not? I do. But I don't believe in jungle justice. I believe that justice must be pursued diligently, openly, transparently. You know, I do not believe in jungle justice. What's my advice for the youth concerning cybercrime is that you can do something better. Life has not always been rosy for every one of us. I was born relatively poor. My father died when I was barely 13 years old. My mother was a poor petty trader, and yet we survived. The most important thing we need in life is, 1, we need God. 2, we need knowledge. We need knowledge. So it's very key. Very, very key. And we need hard work. We need hard work. What do I say to those who said, ovation help praise those with illegal money? Well, I mean, you can't sometimes help people criticize a good work. Everybody cannot like your job. But a lot of people will say that. I'm sure they've not even read Ovation. If you take any copy of Ovation, 80% of the content is usually devoted to hard work, to people who have worked hard, who have excelled in one career or the other. You will hardly see government people, and if you see them, they are less than 10 to 20% of the entire content. And then the job of Ovation is not the job of EFCC. I'm not the chairman of the EFCC. What do we cover in Ovation? Weddings, funerals, birthday parties. So am I going to ask for EFCC clearance before we carry those events? But have we ever carried an armed robber in Ovation to say, oh, it's not an armed robber? Have we ever carried anybody who stole government money and we wrote there that he didn't steal money? So if you have any such example, you can show it to us. When I interviewed Desiani, they said, why would you? That's our job, is to interview. I asked questions and she answered. I didn't pass any judgment. Until today, nobody has convicted her of any crime. So, but some of our people are very, very desperately, intolerant. So once we don't like one person, then nobody should talk to the person. Nobody should interview. Some journalists were interviewing Osama bin Laden, the world's most wanted terrorist. They were interviewing him daily, regularly, including CNN and all of them. He had friends amongst the media. Our job, the job of a media personality, is to talk to everybody. Whether you are a saint or you are a sinner, our job is not to judge people. I can only write my opinion in an opinion article. So Ovation is a lifestyle magazine for the rich, for the famous, for the not so famous. And I mean, we've done our job very well. Wike is working in EFCC, I don't highlight it. I don't think you know the nature of my job. I'm not a newspaper. When I was highlighting Wike in Port Harcourt, in Rivers, Wike specifically requested for ovation. So I'm sure if he calls ovation tomorrow, which I believe he won't, because he believes I'm opposed to him, and truly I'm opposed to some of the things he's been saying and doing. You know, if you are tired of your political party, quit. You can't hold your party to ransom, but then don't let's go there. Don't let's go there. So please, let's leave that for now. Dele or a governor, if you are talking about Governor Dele, yes, he's my very dear friend of so many years, over 3 decades. So we've been friends before he became governor, and we are still friends, and we will continue to be friends by the grace of God. I don't know if LGBT is taking over Nigeria. Like I said, I am tolerant enough to listen to every shade of opinion, but I believe that nothing should be done or to destroy the social fabric of Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, everywhere in the world. The best description of Bobrisky I've seen somewhere is that he or she is a deviant. So a deviant is someone who rebels against society. We have that all over the world. I remember when Fela married 27 wives on a single day. We've never seen it before, but it happened. So there are deviants who just do their own thing the way they want. And what can you do? Yoruba have a saying, so you are not going to kill deviants because they are non-conformists. Look at my great Egbon, Charlie Boy, I call him Uncle Charles Oputa, whose father was one of the most brilliant Supreme Court justices in Nigeria at the time. And yet, he was a deviant. He refused to conform. And you can imagine how his father would have felt at the time. But today, in his 70s, he's still looking very vibrant, still very relevant, making his own contributions to nation building. And that's how it should be. Every human being, excuse me, has something positive to contribute in a society. So you can't write people off because we disagree with them. So some will belong to the left, some will belong to the right. But as long as they obey the laws of the land, that is key. Do I agree Obi won 2023 general election? I don't have the facts. According to the Nigerian courts, they said it was Tinubu that won. So I should not commit a crime by talking about what I know nothing about.